Hello, it's me again. It's Bree and Psych. My name is Bree. I'm going to talk about mental health during nursing school. It's a very close-hearted subject for me, and it means a lot to me, and I hope that this video means a lot to you. I know in my first few years of nursing school, it was quite hectic. So hopefully this helps. The first thing I'm going to talk about is pre-nursing. So during my nursing school, they changed the program. So first year is kind of like the prerequisite year. They admit, I think, about 100 students every semester. And luckily for me, I started at the beginning of all this change, so there wasn't as many students, so the GPA didn't skyrocket.
Which was great.
And ultimately, this system created a pressure cooker kind of environment of a classroom, which isn't very healthy. I wouldn't recommend it. If you're building a program for nursing school, don't do this. It's not fun. So it felt like a pressure cooker. You're constantly under stress. And what I found myself doing was that there was a lot of negative dialogue thinking. So I was saying things like, I'm not good enough. All these other people around me are so much smarter than me. They have so much more going for themselves. They're doing way cooler volunteering experiences than I was. So I was doing a lot of comparing. That was silly because, first of all, the program only requires you to do a set amount of volunteer hours in a set environment with a set population. They didn't really look at it that much in your application. Our program to get into second year, which was the closed program, was to have the highest GPA. That's all that mattered, really. Which is a shame. If you're building a program, don't do that. Don't do that. Look at the whole student, please. As I said, pressure cooker, lots of negative thinking. And what I wish I would have done is I wish I would have focused on the tasks at hand and been more in the present. As someone I know dear and true to my heart says, you cross that bridge when you come to it. So that means you go into class, you have a test that day, you focus on that test, you do the best you can on that test, and you know what? Later on, don't think about it anymore. Don't worry about it anymore. Move on. Go for a bike ride. Go do Zumba. Whatever it is. Stop thinking about it. It'll drive you nuts. So that was my first year. Lots of negative thinking. Eventually, got into second year. And second year was crazy. Let me tell you. It was all about finding who is going to drop out, who is going to crumble under the pressure. It's what it felt like. So we had 6 classes, but our pharmacology class had a lab class within the class. So it was basically 7 classes. I, again, would have a lot of negative dialogue thinking. I would think it was crazy. We had our first clinical. We had technically 2 labs. We had pharmacology and like a bunch of other classes that were just crazy. And it's really hard to keep up your mental health when you have so much going on in your life. It really is. And what I wish I could have said to myself then is that you will get through it. You got through your prerequisites. You're gonna be fine. And what I had found that I really enjoyed was that I was able to apply concepts that I was learning in class, and I was able to put it right away into my clinical. I found pretty quickly that I really like hands-on skills, hands-on learning. So being able to go read something in a book and then kind of connect it to clinical was really nice, and I was able to learn a lot better that way. So you'll find every person has their strengths and weaknesses, and that's perfectly okay. You're a student. Don't stress yourself out more than you need to. And try and make time. I know technically 7 classes, you're not going to have a lot of time. One of the things I felt like I could have worked on was I am really bad at sleeping in, and I really wish that at the time I had set that schedule for myself so that I could give myself more time to do things that I wanted to do. Whatever is gonna help you get through nursing school, because it's a journey, trust me. Semester 4. And semester 4 was also very stressful, and I had started to get a little bit better at nursing school, and you'll get there if you're a new student going into nursing. You'll start to get the hang of things. You'll start to learn how to study better. And one of the things that ended up stressing me a lot for semester 4 was an intense lab instructor that we had. So this lab instructor would say things like, remember, if you don't pass this, if you don't get, I think it was 60% or something, and she was a very hard marker. If you don't get 60% on every single project in this lab class, you fail the whole class. If you don't get 60% on these midterm or final simulations, you fail the whole class. There's no making up for it, no makeups. Usually in nursing school, you'll have a few teachers like this. That's just life. No one's gonna make your life easier. I mean, nursing isn't an easy thing anyways, so it's a little bit of reality, really. What I wish I would have done for my own mental health, instead of listening to these kind of negative portrayals of nursing, I would have liked to have debriefed with my classmates a little bit more. And I would have also liked to have practiced a little bit more in lab, because at the time we were learning, like maybe 4 skills every week, and that can be kind of hectic, and you can't always practice that very well in 3 hours of lab time. It depends on your school, but at our school we were able to book extra lab time if we wanted to. And looking back at that now, I really, really, really wish I would have spent that extra lab time and have practiced that with maybe another 1 or 2 nursing students and gone through all the different simulations, because those skills really matter when you're going into clinical. And even though the lab simulations are nothing like a real patient, let's be honest here, the skills and the processes behind that are really important to know. So let's go to my next semester, which was semester 5. During this semester, it was the 3rd clinical rotation, so I was getting the hang of things more. I was a little bit more in the groove. I was really looking forward to the teacher I had for clinical. She's very intense, but she's very passionate, and she knows so much about psychiatric nursing. There's so much knowledge to gain from that teacher. And the rotation that I got, my psychiatric rotation, and I was really looking forward to it because it was a really cool rotation. During this time, my clinicals I was doing 12-hour shifts for the first time. So my first clinical shifts were 8 hours. My second set of clinical was 10-hour days. and then this one was 12 hours. So that was a lot on its own. And let me tell you, if you need a coffee break, just ask to go get coffee. It's going to help. I remember one of the last, I think it was the last couple of weeks I did my rotation, I begged my instructor to please help me get a coffee because I was going to fall asleep on my feet. I was so tired. So it was very, very stressful during these clinical rotations. And one of the things that I was doing was I spent so much time on these patient assignment sheets that we had to do every week. I forget what they're called. I'll put it up here. Or in the description. Just take a look. I spent so much time on them because I really wanted to understand the patient assignment that I was working with, that I was ending up spending until 3, 4 a.m. I think it was Monday, Tuesday we would have class. Wednesday was like get your shit together kind of day. And then Thursday, Friday, 2 12s, day shifts. So Friday nights, I was spending till 3 or 4 a.m. getting these sheets done because I wanted to get them done properly and get full marks and understand my patients. So this created a lot of stress, trying to get all these sheets done on time. What I wish I'd done better was work on them. I wish I would have worked on them both days instead of getting it all done on Friday. However, it's hard to do because when I got home on that Thursday night, I just wanted to go to bed and be ready for the Friday morning. But looking back on it now, I think it would have benefited me to at least do 1 hour's worth of work, because that 1 hour means that I can have 1 hour more sleep on Friday, which is when I'm trying to catch up on the sleep because I'm doing 12 hours and 12 hours is crazy, but that's nursing for you. You'll get used to it. That's basically all I have. Key points to take away: make sure you learn time management, get a good planner, or if you use your phone or laptop or whatever, plan it out on Excel or calendars or whatever you do. And make sure you divide up your work properly on different days so that you're not cramming it all in one night. It's not healthy, not good for your health, not good for your mental health. And make sure you get enough sleep. Make sure you're eating good lunches, especially during clinical. If you're doing 12-hour shifts, it's important. If you're like me and you have a lot of negative thinking going on in your head, turn it around. You gotta make it positive. You're not gonna do yourself any good talking to yourself like that. You're just creating more stress for yourself. Think about the things that you can change and that you can do, and stop thinking about the things that are out of your control. Because they're out of your control, you can't do anything about them. Alright, thank you so much for listening to the video. Make sure to like and subscribe if you liked it. If you didn't like it, give it a big old dislike. At least I get some feedback. Alright, ciao!